Yeah, so let's just go straight into that. One of the other reports that we saw that was really interesting was around Verizon bringing out its newest report on breaches and security. This is always a great report because they do a pretty comprehensive view of looking at data breaches throughout the years. And throughout the year, one of the most interesting trends that they brought up, it was front and center in their top takeaways, is that 30% of breaches were associated with third parties, your vendors, your software providers and platforms, and which doubled from the year before. So hackers are increasingly not just going after end users, but after the platforms themselves. Probably the most famous of these was the big Snowflake breach that happened, where it turns out that a lot of Snowflake customers were not turning on two-factor or multi-factor authentication in certain cases. And Snowflake was giving them the freedom to do so. And it ended up being really bad for everyone involved because although Snowflake has always been very popular for being easy to use and easy to start up and very easy to scale, perhaps in this case, they gave a little bit too much flexibility to the end user, and that has been fixed going forward. But everybody else is going to deal with this problem as well that we have been dealing with for the past decade. Security environment, an IT environment, really, where everything's supposed to get easier. There's an app for that. There's SaaS for that. The average enterprise has 1,000 apps and data sources at this point, and some have many more. Some have an order of magnitude more when you look at the data sources. And all of those are new vulnerabilities and potential access breaches that exist. And that's going to be a huge, huge problem to have to solve. So, Verizon took a look at some of those numbers, and it's really interesting. I definitely recommend taking a look at it.
Well, one of the numbers that they call out is, and I'll use the second half of the analysis here, that 46% of the uh, perimeter device vulnerabilities not being remediated.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I think this is just one of those things that's kind of like the pucker factor moment, where just the raw number of vulnerabilities that there are to remediate, and the second factor being the use of AI tools to generate payloads and applications that will exploit those existing vulnerabilities and increase the potential lethality of ransomware payloads. Uh, this is really important. And I believe that we are in a situation now where we really do need to intentionally shift from a reactive to a proactive orientation on this when it comes to
Mm-hmm.
security. I'm not a security person by nature, but I am close enough to it to realize that you can only go for so long, like pretending the risk does not exist. To we've got to do something. We have to have more of an intentional strategy around how we're going to approach it than just, hey, did we patch? Not enough.
Yeah, and what I do know is that the perimeter is getting more and more varied. We are all dealing with more devices. Now we've got cameras. Now we've got AI being able to independently
Yes.
do all sorts of different things. We just spent a few minutes talking about agentic capabilities from a variety of directions, and those are going to potentially be either access or data driven or analytic issues as well that
Yes.
affect these vulnerabilities, this vulnerability profile that every enterprise has. Yeah, this is getting tough, really, really tough. I do not envy at all the security profession at this point, as even if they do their jobs perfectly based on definitions from 5 years ago, they can still get really screwed over, or businesses can get screwed over while security says we did the best we could with the meager budget that you gave us.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Oh, so thank you to Verizon. Please check out that 2025 data breach investigation report.